All right. Okay, here we go. Okay. Thank you everybody for coming. This is a webinar for sexual desire and mindfulness for women. It's also for the men who love women, and we're all here to learn something. So thank you guys all for coming. Um, okay. So I'm presenting this information from the Relationship and Intimacy Center today because here at the Relationship and Intimacy Center, we do see many individuals and couples who have sexual issues. Sexual issues are some of the needs that are addressed here, not just by myself, but by all of my colleagues. So I put this webinar together from my own experiences as a somatic psychotherapist, but from also having 15 years of experience as a registered yoga teacher. And really, this webinar is just another example of how Western medicine is now catching up with Eastern thought, the thought that our bodies, our minds, and our hearts have this interconnectedness, that we can heal when we bring ourselves into synchronicity with those parts of us. So, this webinar here is to promote and emphasize the importance of reconnecting with our physical self as a pathway to unlocking deeper desires and promoting our own emotional well being. And that can be done by learning to cultivate our bodily awareness and mindfulness. So, when we do that, we just enhance our own personal fulfillment, and we not only heal the relationship with ourselves, but we can heal the relationship with all those around us. Um, so thank you again all for coming. My name is Elleni Huerter. I'm a mother of three, well, I guess they are almost adults now, three children. I'm a psychotherapist here at the Relationship and Intimacy Center. And I've also been a yoga teacher for the past 15 years. I'm also a relax and renew trainer, and I've hosted yoga retreats around the world. So this is my first love, though, is connecting the mind, body, and heart together. And I've seen this many times where people, they have truly healed themselves just by connecting that authentic relationship with themselves. So I put this together, this webinar, because there is a need. And of course, also just to inform everyone, here at the Relationship and Intimacy Center, we do hope to have future workshops on the horizon that will bring people together for mindful movement, for a deeper connection with themselves through meditation and breath work, journaling, and even just reframing our thoughts. So we'll speak more of that later, but that is one of the informative pieces here from this workshop. Uh, so maybe you sit there and think, is this for me? What does this have to do with me? And we can think about these kinds of types of questions here. You could sit there and think to yourself, well, am I struggling to feel desire physically and mentally? Is my spouse seemingly unaware, or maybe they are aware of the way emotions affect their physical sensations? Maybe I'd like to learn more about that for myself. Maybe I'm interested in learning through introspective awareness to listen to my body's signals. Maybe I'm seeking a deeper connection with myself, with others. And maybe I know, or I would just like to know a little bit more, or maybe I want to be more validated in my opinion that society does impact the way that we view our body image. Um, Perhaps even you're just open to exploring new practices for your body, mind, and heart. And if you have those types of questions, This webinar is for you, and the possible future workshop is also for you because we will be exploring all these things together. But before we do anything more, I do want to say that there is hope, and these challenges, these difficulties that we have with sexual desire is very common. It's very common for all of us, myself included. Research shows that our thoughts and our emotions, they impact how our body responds to not just sexual desire in sexual situations, but it impacts our physical self in many situations, most situations. Um, Mindful movement can connect the body, the mind, and the spirit together, creating a state of relaxation and one that improves sexual function. And mindful movement, when I say that word, I do mean yoga. I mean that mindfully moving our body in creative ways uh, adjusts the level of attention that we give to our breathing, which reduces our anxiety and our stress. And that does create a state of relaxation. It enhances, it regulates the parasympathetic activity of the heart, all which are associated with improving our sexual response. Um, so there is hope. There is the possibility that we can retrain our mind, body, and spirit so that it's more regulated and we increase our sexual desire. So just speaking of mindfulness, that is a part of sex and understanding sex. Sex is composed of two different pieces, mindfulness and sexual desire. And what I mean by mindfulness is our mind, body, and heart, our heart being our emotions. That mindfulness composes sexual desire, which also intertwines society, our environments, the norms that are around us. Our mind is the most important sexual organ that we have. Our thoughts influence our emotions and our body. And through introspective awareness, we can become more aware of how that happens. Our body itself depends a lot on our genetics and our general health. Our emotions, they change and they can impact our thoughts and our perceptions that we have. Our emotions are the only way that our body has to speak with us. Our body speaks with us through feelings. And it's true that society, social media, the news, they often, more than not, provide us with incorrect messages about sex, about how we should be feeling about ourselves, even influencing what we should buy for ourselves to make us even more better. This kind of disharmony can disrupt that system within us. So what that means is even the World Health Organization states that sexual health is a harmony between the mind, body, and emotions. It's all intertwining together, and everything in these three sectors must be in harmony, working together, congruent, and therefore our sexual desire increases. It's healthy. So breaking that up, these three factors in mindfulness, the first being our mind. Our mind is so beautiful, it's beyond our comprehension. Our mind, our brain can produce thoughts, actual words that we understand. Now, through four different reasons, those thoughts can be disharmonious. Some of the thinking thoughts could include, I'm not enough. Things like, they'll leave me if they really know me. And that can produce some low self-esteem. And when we're dealing with thoughts of, I'm not enough, struggling with our self-worth, constant self-doubt. I mean, even on the flip side of this is that others won't meet our standards. We avoid vulnerability and we don't give ourselves a chance to explore our world. More mind thinking factors could be just a poor body image. Thoughts like, I hate how I look, leading to actions such as avoiding mirrors or just hating to look at ourselves in the mirror. This is a constant comparison with others, two impossible standards that can lead to poor image of a body. Feeling uncomfortable with your shape or your size and obsessing over things that you can't really change can give you those feelings of not being enough and make you want to shrink or even just build an armor around yourself so that you aren't vulnerable. Other things could be the self-love struggles. Now, this one is one for caregivers out there, our martyrs we run into now and then. These individuals, they give a lot to everyone. They are giving people, and they do it with a good heart. But they give, and then they feel starved inside. They struggle sometimes with, it's called people pleasing. They have anxiety, and it can lead to thoughts like, I take care of everyone else, but I don't know how to take care of me. Sometimes they even think they're undeserving of affection. They give, and their own needs go unmet. And then, of course, unrecognized trauma. This can come out when you start to pull away when you get too close to people. Perhaps even you're just a little edgy for no reason at all. And unrecognized trauma can come from a lot of different places, sometimes from childhood, sometimes from the present. It can go on, and trauma itself is from the Greek word that means wound. So this unrecognized wound that we're carrying around can cause us to think things, have negative beliefs, and negative cognitions. Here at the Relationship and Intimacy Center, there are many of us, myself included, who are trained in EMDR. And this is one way to help heal that wound, to help process the memory. And that's done through bilateral stimulation. EMDR is another form of somatic therapy as we're working with the body to heal. Okay, so the next on our triad here is the body and physical factors. Our body is very unique. We all have unique bodies, and we all need them to get around. We've been given a human body. Unfortunately, though, it's very common that 43% of women and 31% of men do have sexual desire difficulties. And that is because our body sometimes doesn't want to behave as it should. These difficulties could consist of just having a persistent lack of sexual desire. And if it gives us stress, if it gives us a feeling of distress, then it's a difficulty. Just that lack of desire leads to the mind thinking certain things. And it's our body, because of genetics and because of our general health, this difficulty can come in a sexual desire form. Even sexual arousal difficulties. You want to be aroused, but the body isn't responding. This is discongruent. Your mind wants to, your body doesn't. You may even experience strong discomfort, fear, or disgust towards sexual contact. This could be from a host of reasons, but it's valid and it's real. And perhaps even you're hypersexual, which means you're just out of control with your sexual thoughts or behaviors. This, again, your body and mind are in a discongruent way. They're not aligned with each another. Some of us may have orgasm difficulty. We can't have an orgasm. We've never had one. We don't know what it's like. And of course, sexual pain. Pain during intercourse is real and it's happening to many people. And that's because of just an involuntary tightening of the vaginal muscles. It could also be that some of us, as we get to a certain age, we go through what's called menopause, perimenopause. And this stage of life is a complete reconfiguration of your human body. Every cell and tissue that you're composed of changes. And through this change, dryness and fragility occurs. Um, this discomfort in the vulva area, the irritation for no clear cause. And of course, sexual pain also can come from menstrual cycle pain, scars or cysts in the pelvic region. This deep internal pain is very real. And it's true, though, that pelvic floor muscles can tighten, they can change with time. But mindful movement has been proven, and one research study as early as last year published states that it's a very immediate effect when a person comes in for mindful movement, or in yoga, what's called a hip opening class. They increase their blood flow to this region of their body, the hip area. And so the weakness of those muscles get increased blood flow. And that helps with the insufficient vaginal lubrication that can occur. So it's true. These weak pelvic floor muscles do exist for some of us, but it's through hip opening classes such as these that we can move the pelvic floor region and invite an increase in blood flow. And the effects are quite immediate, and that's pretty profound. And what I mean by hip opening class is when we move our legs forward, backwards, one side to the other side. So we kind of rotate around the hip, working all the muscles around the hips. And that can be successfully accomplished in a 60-minute class by a proficient teacher. They're some of my favorite classes, and there's a deep relief for myself, but for many people as they practice these kinds of poses. Um, okay, so the next one is the heart and emotional factors. This one's a very uh, deep topic in itself. This could be its own webinar, the feelings that we have surrounding sex and the feelings that sex brings to us. These emotional factors, they're the way our body speaks with us. And sometimes our body, because of pain and discomfort, it wants to tell us things, and that comes out as emotions and feelings. Some of those feelings that we can have around sex are frustration, disappointment, insecurities, maybe even loneliness. We may even feel threatened. Or it could be just a complete emotional numbness. We're just shut off from it now. And we don't want to listen to our body. It's just quiet. All of these things can cause guilt, confusion, and shame around pleasure. So even here, working with a class such in a mindful movements class, a yoga class, and the theme being a hip opening class, energetically speaking, in yoga, the hip area is a very watery area. So it's been my own personal experience and the experience of many people that when we do hip opening classes, sometimes when we're in that pose, we're developing that introspective awareness. We're in a state of stillness when we're fusing our body, mind, and heart together. This can cause emotions to come up. For many people, tears happen in a yoga class. And it's our way, when we finally stop moving, our body can speak with us. And it's very healing. It's very healing to feel these things and not just go around it, but go through them. And that's one way that healing does happen. Personally, hip opening class is very good for this, along with restorative yoga, which is bringing ourselves into that stillness and just being. It's the art of relaxation. Okay. So That being said, those three things do compose a mindfulness. And what we have here is mindfulness and social norms that affect sexual desire. So, social norms are very confusing at best. Social norms, the world wants to tell you exactly who you should be. And that is why, to develop a nice, strong sense of self, we know who we are and we're strong with who we are. Some of the incorrect messages that we can get from social media, the news, various soap operas on TV, um, are that sex is just a natural human behavior. Everyone knows how to have great sex. It's just natural. Perhaps even sex is for young people only. And of course, one of the best ones, people who love each other, they have sex all the time. Men and women behave the same way in terms of sex. But the fact is that men and women don't behave the same way in terms of sex. One of my teachers, one of the therapists here at this office, Josie, she says, men are like microwaves, females are like ovens. It does take females a little bit of time to warm up to the idea of sex. And that's done through relaxation and preparation. It's very hard to feel sexual desire and like a beautiful woman when you've been caring for the home and children and perhaps even a full day at work. Sexual desire kind of gets put on the back burner. So we need to think about our environments and what's happening around us to get kind of warmed up for it. Men are a little bit different. They can keep going. But women need that time to prepare themselves through mindfulness with their body, mind, and heart. And like I said, through the environment, it's very easy to put sexual desire on the back burner if those things are not tended to. Another incorrect message is if my partner doesn't want to have sex with me, they don't love me and they don't find me attractive. When the fact is, we all have things happening and it just might not be the right time that night. We can cure these things. We can heal these incorrect messages. We can do it by setting boundaries. We can do it by making friends with the body that we have and by developing that strong sense of self through what's called introspective awareness. Interoceptive awareness, and that is the ability of an individual to sense what's happening inside of us, our bodily sensations, and then shutting off society's message, putting it on the shelf, and knowing what's right with us. That's one way to shut it down, and to know how we feel and why we feel it is through a deep exploration within ourselves. So along with social media and all that comes with it, there's also now we have AI, which even makes reality very difficult to sort out. It's another challenge that causes us stress. And stress is the opposite of mindfulness. Stress produces cortisol, which is the body's primary hormone, and that is designed for a good purpose to get us to go, to run, to fight, or maybe even stand still. Movement, mindful movement, reduces the cortisol in us. And it's good to have cortisol, but if we're flooded with it and there's no release, this can cause illness. Because stress doesn't just live in your thoughts, but it lives in your nervous system. And stress really impacts the way our body, our mind, and our heart work together. The sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight system. It was designed for a reason, a good reason, to keep us alive. The parasympathetic is the rest or digest. So if we think about this thousands of years ago, or millions, depending who you ask, Humans lived in a state where the threat would come, maybe a big animal, it would try to eat us. It'd be over with in 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. You're either running away or maybe you passed away, and that's your a meal for something. But the stress was over with in 5 to 10 minutes. Nowadays, it's not over with in 5 to 10 minutes. Our stress, the cortisol can keep going and going and going day after day, week after week, sometimes year after year, which in this case, this is called chronic stress. And you may have chronic stress if you're just constantly overwhelmed. Perhaps it shows up as digestive issues, maybe the racing thoughts, perhaps just constant fatigue, and maybe it's just a real tightness in your muscles. It's just a general feeling of not being connected to your body. And this can be a variety of reasons. The stress hormone cortisol is just coming through us, which it doesn't end. It doesn't end in the 5 to 10 minutes how it was supposed to. It's coming week after week, day after day. And we have to find a way to relieve ourselves to cope in a pro-social manner with this types of stress from work, from our home life, from various relatives. We have to find a way to put that on the shelf and find peace. And that can be done with somatic therapy. So how the body and somatic therapy all works together is we're striving to have concordance, which means our body, our mind, and our heart is all working together. Disconcordance is when our mind is saying one thing, but our body wants to do something else, and they're not in harmony with one another. So what we would like is to develop this interoceptive awareness, which is your ability to detect your own internal state of being. So we bring synchronicity to ourselves through this body awareness by connecting our body, our emotions, and our breath and our thoughts together. And sometimes that's done through movement. And so we're just cultivating that awareness of how the body feels through movement, through each pose, through each moment. We're taking the moments to feel the increased blood flow. We're bringing this special awareness. And it's through time, you begin to learn what you can do and what you cannot do with this type of awareness. The synchronicity can also bring clarity and calmness. The combination of our physical self and our breath and a meditation is a great way to manage stress and to become a thinking person, not a reactionary person. We know that we can give ourselves space between this and that through our breath, through awareness. Mindful movement can bring synchronicity to chronic stress patterns as well. It's through movement that we learn to train and empower our mind to let go of negativity from whatever situation is in front of us, whatever false narrative is being presented to us. We can stop and give ourselves the space to stand back, or we can just adjust our body so it's not on autopilot. We get to decide how we want to be. And of course, it relaxes the mind. Movement and breath work is the key to turning on the parasympathetic nervous system. And in this way, once again, we respond to stress in a more productive, pro-social way. We give ourselves the space between us and what is ever is in front of us. And we do that with our choice because we're a thinking person, not a reactive person. And then, of course, one of the best things about mindful movement, somatic therapy, and bringing it together through a synchronicity is it does sharpen your concentration. It disciplines you in everything you do in every area of your life, not just sexual desire, but we're talking about the big picture here. It brings discipline when you show up for yourself, when you show up for this relationship you have with so many people. You show up, you're present, and that movement is training you for that bigger picture in your life. Okay. So just to give everybody just a very easy practice here. We're about in the middle of the webinar here, so we're going to practice this thing together. We can do this together. Okay, so we're going to practice something. First, I'm going to say if you're driving, don't close your eyes, okay? Just listen like it's an intellectual assignment here. But if you happen to be in your home, in your office, or somewhere safe, you can close your eyes. When I ask people to close their eyes, I'm just asking them to kind of turn off their senses. They're turning off everything outside of them, and they're bringing that interoceptive awareness into them. They begin to notice their body. So once again, not if you're driving, but if you are not driving, I'll invite you to close your eyes. If you feel safe to do so, please do so. And we'll start. We'll just do, it's just a two-part breath. This thing I learned a very long time ago from one of my teachers. Her name is Dr. Betsy Rippentrop, and she owns Heartland Yoga in Iowa City. And she learned it from her teacher, Rod Stryker, who is a prolific yogi. So it's hard to put into words. This is my own personal practice. So I just feel it. But I'm going to walk everyone through it here. So let's try this thing out. Okay, so if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Okay. So just before we start, I do want to just bring everyone's attention to the fact that every one of us here, we've all experienced pleasure. We've all experienced pain. Every one of us has experienced loss, but we've all also experienced love. And so we're not alone. We're not alone. You're not alone. And we're all in this together. So just start to settle in. Settle in. Just relax your shoulders. Relax your facial muscles and your eyes. Just settle into your breath and relax your feet onto the ground. So this is a very simple meditation. It uses a bit of imagery as well. And it's just a two-part breath. So it's very simple, but very, very powerful. So at this point, I just want you to imagine the top of your head, the crown of your head. I want you to envision this radiant light around you, in the field around you, above you. And in this light, it's just goodness, it's benevolence. It's all love. It's almost something we can't understand. And it's always with you. All your experiences. So with this two-part breath, I want you to think about on your next inhale, as you breathe in, just think of that white light coming down from the top of your head, the crown of your head, into the cave of your heart. And as you exhale, just feel your heart, the dark areas in that cave of your heart expand. And then inhale that light up and back on out through the crown of your head, through the top of your head. And as you exhale, you just let it go. Let go of the breath. Exhale out. And then again, we'll inhale from the crown of our heads down into our heart, into our heart. And as we exhale, we just feel our heart expanding. Inhaling the breath up, taking with it all your armor, all your negativity. Let it lift on up through the crown of your head. And then exhale and just feel it release on out. Just let it go. Let go of the negativity. One more time. We'll just inhale, feeling light in your heart area. Exhaling. And then inhaling that light up and out with your exhale. So this type of thing can be done. You can go 10 to 15 rounds this way. Just feeling your breath in your heart, breathing in the light, feeling it expand, and then exhaling out and feeling it dissipate, just like smoke in the air. Negativity will just dissipate out. Okay. So that's a bit of a somatic practice, and it's for bringing our heart, our thoughts, and our body together through breath. The breath is a vehicle that can bring us peace and harmony. This particular exercise as a heart-centered practice is good for heart health even. It's good to activate that parasympathetic nervous system and to feel that release and calm. This type of heart-centered practice is what we do here at the Relationship and Intimacy Center. And it's one reason why individuals do come here and why many people come to therapy in the first place. And that's so that they come to understand in their own way how much they're truly loved and how much they matter. And that's done through connection in a safe and secure environment. Okay. So some of the takeaways here is that the mind, the body, and heart connection is crucial for awareness and sexual desire. Enhancing that introspective awareness can lead to deeper self-discovery. And that's done through a practice like we just did, through breath work, through settling into relaxation and silence, and even through working through discomfort, not going around it, but working right through it. Engaging with our desires is a powerful tool for fulfillment. So there's nothing but validation here. It's true. When we work with ourselves, we increase our sexual desire, and our needs are met not just in the sexual desire way, but in the bigger picture around us. As we increase our activities with our relationships. We grow as people. Um, so we always need to take care of ourselves. And one way we can do that is reframe and retrain our mind to experience pleasure. We can connect with our body to calm our nervous system through introspective awareness. And in doing so, we bring peace and a calmness to our heart, and we feel settled. We're not as scattered. We feel settled when we take care of ourselves. And we know that it's important not just to us, but all those around us when we care for ourselves. Um, okay, so what's coming up here on the horizon is that there is a workshop possibly for biological females. And this workshop will include gentle movement, most likely hip openers to help with our pelvic floor muscles, which, as I stated, our research study just from 2025 proved that a mindful movement class itself will increase the blood flow in the pelvic region, and the benefits are pretty immediate. So we want to offer that here as a workshop. The space is very limited, though, as we have this space here, very limited participation. But because we'll be moving, we need the space, and space is limited. But along with the mindful movement is breath work and meditation, and that's to promote this calm nervous system, to build that interoceptive awareness, and to have that deeper relationship with our body so that we have a working knowledge of how breath work does bridge the body and mind and our heart. Along with that, in the workshop, we'll have some journal prompts so that we can discover some patterns we may be holding, negative beliefs. And also, we will have the owner of the Relationship and Intimacy Center, Joselie Dunkerson. She will join us and help teach us, as she's a sex therapist, how to reframe and relearn our cognitions. We'll learn about sexual desires from a professional, shifting those negative thoughts that we may have about sex or our body or just connections in general. And along with that, she'll help us invite self-compassion to it all. I'm being told that insurance may cover some of this as well, as it is technically some group work. We'll be in a small, very small, intimate group. So, and of course, this space is limited. Please reach out to me if you do have any questions on this. And as we get a kind of some more knowledge of who would like to come, we'll have dates and times then, what works for everyone. So I'm very excited about this. I hope you can join us. And that being said, there's some references, but I do want to thank you all so much for being here, for joining me. Please stay connected to the Relationship and Intimacy Center for more little webinars, workshops, and please contact me. That's my email there. Please contact me through email if you're interested in the workshop or if you have any comments about this webinar. It's my joy to share it with you, and I really appreciate all of you being here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, there we go.